Unforgettable. That's what's...
So I came to Cairo. I was staying with a very good friend who's also a musician. His name was Doody Salah. And Doody said to me that there's a concert at Sa'ir Sawi tonight, and it's with Yehya Khalil. And he said, you need to meet this guy. I knew nothing about him. We went to the concert. I loved the concert. He had a couple of international guys on piano and bass, and he was playing drums. It was very jazz. It was jazz. After the concert, I met Yehya, and he said, oh, I know you. I've seen your video. So he had seen the video I'd done with Hatim and Namr. And he said, let's talk. And in the end, basically, Yehya gave me a gig at Cairo Jazz Club. I was really at the end of everything by then. My family in Australia were calling me saying, look, just forget it, come back, you know, you can come home and work. I said, no, just give me a little bit more time, let me just see if I can make it. If I can make it in Cairo, I'm going to be okay. I did this one gig with Yehya, and I said to myself, if this doesn't help me, I've done all I can, because I had done a few other bits and pieces, you know. I did the gig at Jazz Club. And about a week or two later, I was introduced to Maged Makram from Modern Touch. And that's an entertainment company. And he gave me a gig straight away, and he signed me on. So I was just, you know, saved by the bell. So I have a lot of people, there are a lot of people at the very beginning who were just wonderful to me. I've already mentioned the names, you know, and who kept me, held me here. And I've been here. And then a year later, you had the Thawra. So it was like, everything fell down again, you know, no work, no gigs, no that, but it was universal, it wasn't just me. When I first got here, nobody knew who I was. Simple as that, who are you? So I had to make a name for myself, I had to get established. I went to the Cairo Jazz Festival, it was the second one. I met Salah, I met other musicians, I said hi, you know, and then the following year, alhamdulillah, I was able to do the Jazz Festival. They booked me for 2011, 2012, in 2013, Ali and I were away for the 2 months of that period, and this year, 2014, I was not only performing at the Jazz Festival with the Kazo Kumura Trio from Japan, who are very good friends of mine for the last 10 years, but I also hosted it with Salah. Well, I kind of disagree in a way. Why I say that is because jazz in the whole world is not very famous. It doesn't have a big following, let's be honest. It's a niche market thing. I think of jazz music, classical music. Everybody knows classical music, but they don't go to the concerts. They don't go to the operas, you know, stuff like that. It's all niche market stuff is what I think. So there might be bigger followings in Europe and Asia and stuff, but it's not. In Australia, it's white rock. That's my opinion. It's not jazz, you know. So coming to Egypt, I don't think it matters where I go, really. We have the internet, we have technology. If I want to release an album, I just release it, I put it on CD Baby, anybody in the world can find it. It doesn't matter where I'm living. Do you know what I mean? And because I like the fusion, I can always do other stuff. I can always mix things up. I can always, yeah. There's also work here, which I'm going to mention. It's called -1. It's what, in Japan, we do it also. It's a kind of karaoke style. You've got backing tracks, and you're singing. -1 here in Egypt means you take out the vocal, -1 track. So you've got track, you're singing to it. It works because, a number of reasons. It could be a budget reason. Sometimes it isn't budget, sometimes it's purely space. We don't have space for a band, but we need somebody singing live. So that type of work is quite big in Egypt, actually, to be quite honest with you. Sometimes you bring in another musician, a percussion player, a sax player. You give it as much live feeling as you can, but you don't have a whole band. And as I said, so there's a lot of that work, and it pays very, very well. I've found for me that it pays very well as well. Yes. Yes, I'm very happy and glad to be working with Bassem and Mofeed Jamal. He's a lovely pianist. I met him when I was doing a 6-month contract at the Kempinski Hotel. At that time I was working with Akram al-Sha'awi, and he's another lovely pianist, and actually I'm a very big fan of his original compositions. He's a lovely composer. Prior to that, I was working with Hisham Galal. Now Hisham, I worked with him for a year. He was encouraging me to go to see Bassem, listen to him, let him work with you. I said, no, I'm nervous, I only like you, you know, you work with me, and that sort of thing. In the end, Hisham, you're not going to believe this, he goes to live in Sydney, Australia. So he goes to where I came from, and I'm where he came from. And I worked with Akram, which was excellent, enjoyed that. And then when I met Bassem at the Kempinski, I thought, wow, I like this energy. So the band at the moment is Bassem Mofeed on piano, Ahmed Ewis. This is very out of the box because Ahmed is not strictly speaking a jazz bassist. He's the Arab music orchestra for the Opera House. He does a lot of work outside of Egypt and in Egypt with Oriental music. He does a lot of Sufi, all that sort of wonderful music. However, he plays acoustic bass. He does play jazz in a very straightforward way. He's a very accomplished musician. He's a very good reader. I like his feel. I like everything about Ahmed. So Bassem, Ahmed, and Mostafa Abbas, and I think everybody knows Mostafa Abbas. He's a very versatile drummer. He can cross over any genre pretty much. That's my lineup right now, and that's what I've had for all of last year actually, and this year 2014. We've been doing a few events, Cairo Jazz Club. Very happy being with them. First of all, I didn't choose them. I was lucky that they accepted me. I went to them begging, can you take me? Please take me. I need management. I need help. I'm a product. I'm a good product. I believe I'm a good product. I think you can use me. Please take me. They looked at my stuff. They said, okay, we'll take you. At that time, we had a bright future because we had lots of work. There were things coming through. We were doing well. The difference between Modern Touch and any other management company that's come to me offering me work, because I've had a lot of people coming, I can be your manager, and it's just a case of like, yeah, right. I was already doing my own management as best as I could, reasonably successfully. I managed to release albums, write songs, you know, perform throughout the world. I'm not Michael Jackson, but I managed to do that, you know, to keep myself going on the music. With Modern Touch, the difference was like totally professional, experienced. Maggie just knows more than I know. You know, I realized when I met these guys, I read like, oh, I don't know anything about my work. I know nothing. Prior to that, I was a bit blasé, like, yeah, I'm my own manager. I do everything myself. After meeting them, I realized like, oh, I need these guys. I was doing 90% admin, 10% singing. It's complete reverse now. 10% admin, 90% writing, recording, singing, performing, all that sort of stuff. After the Thawra, it was another psh for everybody. At this point in my life, I'm just very grateful that Modern Touch didn't say, psh, go away, you know. I think basically I don't cost them anything to be with them, so I'm not really a problem, if so to speak. And they just keep me going. They keep things moving for me, you know, that type of thing. As I said, it was the experience. They have more experience than anybody I've met in the entire world or the region, and I'm talking about all the countries that have offered me management. Yeah, fantastic company.